Pac-10 hoops on the air from Seattle, Washington, where the dog pack today is already in fine form as they welcome in the Oregon State Beavers here to Seattle, where Isaiah Thomas and the Washington Huskies are off to an outstanding start, 11-3 overall on the year, 3-0 in the Pac-10. They have won 10 straight now in the Pac-10, carried over from last year's regular season. Of course, the tournament when they really burst upon the scene and looking for a school record with a victory here this afternoon against Oregon State. Washington coming off an 18-point whipping of the Beavers here on Thursday. Welcome in, everybody, along with Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro on hand. On Thursday, we got the news that Abdul Gaddy had torn his anterior cruciate ligament. That was back last Tuesday, and they said that he would be out for the rest of the year. So the question was, what would Romar do? Lorenzo Romar, the head coach of Washington, at guard, and he played his senior from Franklin High School, Benoit Overton, with Isaiah Thomas.
Well, he did that, and he could get away with that because Benoit is a very smart, heady player. He's got the experience. Now, whether he keeps that up or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I think to start it off, just to let everybody know, hey, we're fine. We got two guys that can play the point. We can rotate them. Everything is going to be cool.
And they've got some youngsters that came off the bench, gangbusters. Terrence Ross, the freshman from Portland, Oregon, Lenny, 25 points. He had 4 steals as well. And then Scott Suggs, the junior out of Missouri, 13 points, 3 of 5 from 3.
Well, I tell you, both players are playing with such great poise out there. It doesn't create a dilemma for him. Ross was just knocking shots down like they were going out of style. And then Suggs comes in, and he starts to make shots.
Scott Suggs played that defensive brand of basketball as well. We thought that he might start at that 2 position tonight, but our understanding is that Benoit Overton will once again start for the Huskies opposite Isaiah Thomas. But you can see all of the things that Suggs can do inside and outside with the basketball. Now they take on a Beaver basketball team that recently beat Arizona and Arizona State, sweeping the Arizona schools for the 2nd consecutive year. Then they went over to Pullman on Thursday and lost 84-70 when Klay Thompson hit them with a big game of 29. They are led by Jared Cunningham, 6'4" sophomore, who's averaging nearly 19 points a game over the last 5 games.
Well, you know, he's come on real strong for them. They got off to a little bit of a bumpy start earlier, Kevin, but now they're starting to right the ship a little bit. They were 2-0 also in the Pac-10, and then they lost. They ran into a tough Washington State. So we'll have to see what he does. I mean, can he pick it back up where he had it earlier? And he's going to need Haynes to really help him a little bit.
Calvin Haynes is one of just 3 seniors on this team. 6'3" Calvin Haynes, joined by the 6'4" Jared Cunningham at guard. And of course, Craig Robinson, now in his 3rd year with this Oregon State basketball team, is a coach who will employ the 1-3-1 zone defense. It was very effective in the win against Arizona. This is a team also that will crash the offensive glass. 17-2 second chance point advantage in the win over Arizona, which is big because Arizona's got some bigs up front led by Derek Williams.
Well, they really do, and they're like the Huskies. The Huskies are long, see? So you got to keep this team off the boards. If not, all of a sudden they're in that game. And I think that Craig Robinson has done a great job in building their confidence and letting them know, hey, we got to go after the ball. We can play great zone, but we better rebound in the zone.
We'll meet Craig Robinson and the Oregon State Beavers and Lorenzo Romar and the Washington Huskies when the tip follows next here on FSN. Huskies set to play the Oregon State Beavers, first meeting of the year between these 2 clubs and the 4th Pac-10 game for each of these teams. Oregon State stands 2-1. Lorenzo Romar and the Washington Huskies 3-0 in Pac-10 play with a road sweep of the Southern California schools last week. Lorenzo 13-4 all-time against Oregon State. They've won the last 4 meetings. Close games last year against Oregon State. Craig Robinson is the coach of the Oregon State Beavers, now in his 3rd year, coming off an 8-10 Pac-10 record last year, which put him 5th overall in the conference. Ivy League grad of Princeton, class of 1983, and yes, he is Michelle Obama's brother and the president's brother-in-law, just to clear that up. I'm sure you've heard that story. He's one of the really gregarious, fine, young, bright coaches in the Pac-10 and in college basketball. Take a look at the lineups. Angus Brandt, Amari Johnson, Devon Collier, Jared Cunningham, and Calvin Hayes for Oregon State. Washington will have Aziz Njai in the middle, flanked by Matthew Bryan Ammoning, Pac-10 Player of the Week last week, Justin Holiday, Benoit Overton, and Isaiah Thomas. The officials here tonight in Seattle: Chris Rastatter, Michael Irving, and Bruce Hicks. Lenny, what can we expect to see early, you suppose, here from Oregon State on the road? A 1-3-1 team that plays a lot of zone. They'll pressure you full court as well.
Oh, I think you're going to see that zone because they have a lot of confidence in that 1-3-1, and it almost can match up to a man-to-man. So you're going to see that real early. They're going to try and be patient. I don't know that they'll fast break a lot, but I think that if the break is there, they'll take it. If not, you're going to see a half-court game.
Tip won by Washington. The open up of the gold, trimmed in purple and white. Here is Overton, getting his second start of the year. Coming off the screen inside the three-point arc, and he nails a long jump shot. 2-0 Washington.
And that's where I think the 1-3-1 has a weakness, because if the middle guy steps up and sets a screen, you come off, there's no one to pick up right away. He's got to step out.
Cunningham directing the flow. Cunningham hard slash into the lane, off balance. A runner over Benoit Overton won't go. Matthew Bryan Ammoning with a rebound. Overton will take over. Overton has the defensive assignment on the 6'4 Cunningham here early. Thomas is met by Calvin Hayes, one of 3 seniors on this club. Matthew Bryan Ammoning with the step back. Aziz Njai keeps it alive. Angus Brandt will run it down for the Beavers. Devon Collier takes a look in deep. Aziz Njai getting the start with Matthew Bryan Ammoning. First consecutive start for both of those in combination. Angus Brandt hangs a left-handed hook up and in to tie it at 2.
That's a nice little turnaround move there. He started them one way, came back to the middle, and made a little jump hook shot look easy.
Brandt, the Australian. Here's Holiday for 3. Cunningham runs down the rebound. Oregon State, a good rebounding team. They're very active on the offensive glass in particular. 7 offensive rebounds in the win against Arizona. And a 17-2 second chance point advantage on that club.
You can see how patient they are, Kevin. They're not going to take a quick shot. They're going to look to see if they can get a wide open look like that. and right now they're starting to feel pretty good.
Angus Brandt in good form, Lenny. Knocks down the 3. And so Oregon State comes out on top, and here is Holiday triggering for 3. Johnson volleys the ball, keeps it alive to Haynes. In the front court to Cunningham. Trying to slant in. Contact made as Isaiah Thomas attempted to set his feet. Didn't in time. And the foul on Thomas.
Well, they're real patient, and you're going to see that. And watch Brandt. Right there, he catches the ball. He's squared up to the basket. He had his feet set already, so it made the shot look a little easier.
Non-shooting foul. Oregon State will bring it in bounds. Calvin Haynes got into the air and got trapped in the air. And a jump ball on the alternate possession. Well, one official is going to defer to the other. No, it is called a held ball. I thought for a moment they were going to go back and call that a personal foul. Oregon State will take it. Brandt from Sydney, Australia. Look out, he's got to break into the lane. Feeds to Collier, juggled the ball, got off a tough attempt. Matthew Bryan Ammoning the rebound, and Benoit Overton on the run. He eludes the first line of defense. Nice pass to Aziz Njai, blocked. Recovered, and a foul called on the shot by Njai.
Well, I think that's the thing you're going to see with the Huskies. They got to push it. You know, they're not going to let them get set back in that 1-3-1 zone. So if they can catch them in transition, they got a real advantage.
Aziz Njai. Quite a story coming to this Husky program, averaging 17 minutes per contest and the 5 rebounds. Always a threat to block a shot. The free throw line has pretty good technique. Stay tuned for more college basketball here on FSN. West Coast Conference action is heating up as Gonzaga will play host to the red-hot Portland Pilots, followed by the Oregon Ducks taking on the Washington State Cougars in Pac-10 competition. Stick around, it's all still to come here on FSN and FSN HD. Along with the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkens, Kevin Calabro on hand here in Seattle. The Oregon State Beavers lead the Huskies 5-3. Cunningham up the floor, high dribble, crossing over. It looked like Overton may have tripped him from behind. Very possibly Matthew Brian Ammoning with the trip. They're going to call the foul on Brian Ammoning.
Well, we get a chance to see that. Right there, he's penetrating, and Matthew is trying to be wide in that situation, and that's why he tripped over his foot.
Calvin Haynes for three, buries the second three-pointer of the afternoon for Oregon State, and the Beavers off to a good start at 8-3. See the trap coming on the double team, and the ball tipped free. Brant recovers it on the floor and immediately calls a timeout. Good play, says Craig Robinson. Look at Robinson coming out there to acknowledge Brant, and a heads-up play.
Well, he's got them off to a good start. Right now, they're hustling. Loose balls, they dive on the floor for it. And rather than make a tough pass out of that, he smartly calls the timeout. I mean, right here, there's great anticipation. You see they're ready for the zone. They're set there. And as the players come down, now Vinoy is right in the middle. He's got to make a decision. He's almost surrounded by three guys. The length steals the ball, and then Grant gets right on the floor, captures the calls timeout.
Now, you should know about Oregon State. They are #1 in the nation in steals per ball game at 11.2. They really bother you. They wear you down with that 1-3-1, the other assorted zones, and they are led by Jared Cunningham, who is 4th in the country at 3.29 steals per ball game.
Well, when you got that kind of length and you're playing a 1-3-1, you can get the little guy out top, and then those long guys across the middle, all of a sudden the passing lanes close down.
Amari Johnson, along with Calvin Haynes, both seniors. They have seen the very lean times in this Oregon State program. 3rd year for Craig Robinson. He's starting to bring this program back. Haynes drives in and kicks. A little hook in traffic that won't go. Collier the rebound, rejected by Aziz Njai, but Collier gets it back. Steps to the inline and is tripped up on a whistle and a foul. So Aziz Njai down on the baseline. Oregon State very active on the offensive glass.
Well, Njai, you know, he comes over, he's going to give some help. Right here, you're going to see him. He's right there, makes a real fine block, but what happens, he gets caught on the outside.
Jared Cunningham watched closely by Vinoy Overton. Amari Johnson back to Cunningham, a look at three, and banked it in. He'll take it.
I didn't hear him call glass, but it sure looked good.
11-3 count. Now they come to trap Matthew Brian Ammoning. He'll hook pass cross court to Holiday. Now Overton. 3 players swarm. Skip pass to Thomas. 3 players trap him. Cross court it comes to Matthew Brian Ammoning. Skip pass 13 to shoot to Overton. Into the lane to Thomas. Straightaway 3. God, that'll take the heart out of you after all that effort on the defensive end.
It really was. A lot of effort on the defensive end. But credit Vinoy Overton for reading that situation. He made a great pass out to Isaiah Thomas on the top.
Now Oregon State, I find it hard to believe, will be able to sustain that kind of defensive fervor, Lenny. They'll pick their spots with that. The right side, Collier inside to Brant. The reverse, hacked and fouled by Holiday. Well, Washington is going to quickly put the Beavers at the free throw line. That is the 3rd team foul on the Huskies here early with a timeout called on the floor. Opening 5 minutes, Beavers of Oregon State leading the Huskies 11-6 from Seattle on FSN. Oregon State on top by 5 with Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro on hand. Lenny, what about breaking this Oregon State zone? You know it's coming.
Well, you know it's going to come, but what's happening right now is that they added a little wrinkle there where you got 3 guys almost trapping 1. So they forced the Huskies to get into a hurry, and then they got to take a tough shot. But a great pass by Vinoy Overton saves the day because Isaiah knocks it down. I don't know if they can keep up that pressure, but you know, when you're feeling good and you're scoring, you feel like you could do it all day. We'll see what happens as the game goes on.
You're 19 years old. It's a 40-minute game. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Oregon State has the staying power. They have a decent bench. They get to go to their bench as Angus Brant steps up at the free throw line and misses this one. Angus Brant from Sydney, Australia. 6'10", 240, sophomore this year. Joe Burton will step in a moment for Oregon State. He is 6'7", and 280. Beavers have decent size up front. Now here comes Burton. He's more of a threat to score in the low post than is Angus Brandt. And Angus now goes to the bench. Huskies bring it up, trailing here by a half dozen. Again, Oregon State in the 1-3-1 zone with Amari Johnson up top at the point. Thomas for three. Recovered by Benoit Overton and a lay it in. Beautiful play.
Great play, and that's the thing that's most difficult about being in the zone is the rebound. You really have to focus because you're chasing the ball.
Huskies have won 10 straight Pac-10 games. Win here this afternoon, and they will break their school record for consecutive Pac-10 victories. First set by the 04-05 team inside Cunningham. Turnaround jump shot. They made it tough. Off the mark. Tipped out of bounds and last touch by the Beavers.
One of the things you'll see here, Benoit makes a real good pass. He's the one guy that will look to penetrate, and then he gets his own rebound back after helping out, making a great pass, get the rebound, lay it in. You know, he's a veteran player, a smart player, and you can understand why Coach Romar wants him on the floor.
Romar goes to his bench now with Scott Suggs and Thomas working at guards. Terrence Ross is on the floor along with Darnell Camp and Matthew Bryan Amity. This is Thomas into the lane, to the glass. That was way too easy.
And that's the chink in the 1-3-1 because they're really chasing the ball. And when you get everybody over there on the corner, if you make a quick swing, all of a sudden the middle is wide open.
Beavers by two. Washington stays in there man-to-man. They'll play a little bit of zone, not much. Here's Haynes outside for three, misses. A rebound taken off the floor by Terrence Ross, coming off a career high 25 points. Laser pass, Thomas, Matthew Bryan Amity, and the payoff, a big punch at the rim.
I tell you, that's where he has improved so much. He sees the floor so well. Great pass. I mean, all he had to do was catch the ball and lay it in.
6-0 run by the Huskies to tie it at 12. Now the Huskies extend their defense. Joe Burton nearly juggled it away. Just did find Haynes. Caught in the air. He threw it into the first row of the purple-clad Husky fans.
Now that whole play was created by Bryan Amity because, you know, he really went at it. They thought he was going to get it. But here you see that the Huskies get out on the break. And look at a laser pass right on the dime.
Suggs in the middle of that zone. Here's outside to Terrence Ross. One-on-one, he takes on Roberto Nelson and walked with the basketball. So Ross, in his haste to get to the rim, walks with it. Ahmad Starks will step in for Oregon State, 5'8" freshman out of Whitney High School in Chicago, Illinois. And Roberto Nelson is in as well. Santa Barbara High School, redshirt freshman, measures 6'3". Kevin McShane, 6'9" junior from Portland, and is as well for Oregon State. This is Starks in a 12-12 ball game. Nearly given away by Collier. Starks with 8 to shoot. Will pops up for three, and he banked it in. So a couple of three-pointers for Oregon State off glass here early. They rule this a 2-point field goal.
Yeah, I think they're playing off the glass. I mean, 2 shots from way deep outside off the backboard.
Well, the officials are going to survey this and make sure that he was indeed over that line. Hard to tell from that angle. But we do know that that ball landed in the box and was banked in straight away by Ahmad Starks. They'll review that.
Well, the instant replay is always so good because you can see the angles. Like we couldn't see from there. But the side official is the one who could see whether he was on the line or not. And they're hoping that they get a look on the monitor.
Chris Rastatter along with Michael Irving and Bruce Hicks, our officials here this afternoon in Seattle. Take a look again. Watch the foot of Starks. Sure looks like it was right there on that line.
Yeah, it looks like his toe is right there when you look at it. And if it is, it's a 2-pointer.
Early shooting numbers, Oregon State is 5 of 12. They've hit 4 of 5 from 3. And Washington 5 of 9 from the field here early. They're going to rule that a 2-point bucket. for the Beavers, and it puts them back in the lead at 14-12. Good crowd on hand here at Heck Edmondson Pavilion. 3:30 start this afternoon in Seattle. NFL playoff football at Westfield kicked off at 1:30. Seahawks. And the Saints. That's Ross trying to throw it, but off rim, bounces out. Pass inside, Johnson may have walked. They're going to call a blocking foul, however. Washington bench wanted to walk. Sure looked like he took steps getting to the rim, but Johnson is fouled in any event. The officials rule he'll shoot 2.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good call. I thought that the Husky player wasn't there quite in time.
Suggs with a foul. That's his first 15th foul on Washington. And Amari Johnson at the line.
Well, this could be an Achilles heel for Oregon State, because if you're getting to the line a lot, you got to make free throws. You got to put them down. It will put you out of the game quick.
Well, he missed them both, but McShane right there at the rim. McShane with a recovery and another possession. This is Roberto Nelson off the screen. The step back fader off back rim. Rebound tipped up right there to McShane. He'll lay it in. The one thing Oregon State does particularly well, Lenny, is they keep that ball alive in the window.
Yeah, they stay after it. They're not looking. They're blocking people out, and they're moving to the ball every time.
Beavers by 4. Again, they drop back in the zone. Here's Gant. Out to Suggs. Hesitates when he let the 3 go. Missed it. Soaring into the rebound. Darnell Gant. Fouled as he went up. He'll shoot 2. Timeout called on the court. The number 23 ranked Washington Huskies trailing the Beavers of Oregon State 16-12. Back after this on FSN. Oregon State on top of Washington 16-12, and so far, Lenny, Oregon State's been able to knock in some threes.
Yeah, three out of 4. I mean, right there you see Brent, he knocks one down. Then the next guy, you look over there, Calvin Haynes makes one, and then Cunningham. So if you get those 3 guys, all of a sudden they're starting to look on the outside. 3 out of 4 tells you, hey, I got a pretty high percentage. Maybe I can make a few more.
They're shooting 43% from the field overall. Are the Beavers. Washington here at home 45%. Darnell Gant at the line, the first of 2. Young man out of Los Angeles, California, Darnell Gant. Started last year at center for the Sweet 16 bound Husky team. He rolled in the free throw. Coming off the bench. Invaluable effort from him off the bench. 16-14 score.
The Huskies are putting a little more pressure on defense now. They're picking them up a little sooner, making them use the clock, making them put the ball on the floor, and that's when you make mistakes.
Nelson Smooth, freshman, drives into the lane, double pumps in the air, and a shot blocked, getting a piece of it, Terrence Ross. Quickly out to Matthew Bryan Amity. Huskies running, trailing for 3 is Overton. Gant deflects it out of bounds, Oregon State ball. McShane will depart. In comes Lathan Wallace, the 6'3 senior out of Jefferson High School in Portland. Gant and McShane had some words as they both were up after that rebound.
Well, the Huskies got some real size in there now. Njai is back, and plus Gant. You got 2 long guys across the back here.
Oregon State brings Joe Burton with Amari Johnson to the front court. This is Burton up top, out to Starks, and he fires the 3 and hits the 3. Lenny, the threes continue to fall for a team that just shoots 30% from 3-point range.
I didn't see that the last game they played against Washington State. Where was that?
Burton with a rebound. Here come the Beavers again. Starks up the floor to Burton, crossing over into the lane. This kick out, anticipated, stolen by Ross. nearly given away, finds a man below Overton into the air, juggled the ball, came down off of Overton and was standing out of bounds, and it will be Oregon State basketball. That was a calamity of errors that tripped down the floor for the Huskies.
Yeah, well, from one end to the other, you take a look right there, they almost lose the ball, finally get it to Benoit. He loses the ball, and then it goes off for Njai. So it was a tough time down the floor.
5-point Oregon State lead. As Ahmad Starks drives into the lane. Trying to get a foul, won't. Overton with the rebound. Starks reaches in, and a foul on Starks. Actually, what a bad foul there to give. It's kind of slowed the progress of Washington State and gives them a dead ball situation again. Angus Brent now on the floor for Joe Burton. Gives them some size up front defensively.
And not a very good foul by Starks, but at the same time, it slows the Huskies down and takes them out of whatever up-tempo game they had.
Huskies now with it. Holiday. C.J. Wilcox on the floor. Good to see him again. He's been troubled with a staph infection that's limited his minutes over the last couple of days. Wilcox very smooth. Look at the fake, the one dribble adjustment, the jumper, missed it. Aziz Njai on the rebound. Breaks free with two smaller players. Overton into the lane for Washington. Out to Holiday, raising for three. Nope. Oregon State ball. Amari Johnson with a rebound.
Well, the Huskies seem just a little out of tempo right now, and I think it's basically because of the way Oregon's playing it. So they need to get their rhythm back. They need to get their own pace going so that they can score. Starks with 18 to shoot. A straightaway three won't go. Aziz Njai the rebound for Washington. Wilcox, good ball movement by Washington. Holiday drops it low to Aziz Njai. Turns, backs, bumps, missed it. Rebound tipped up and in. Well done, Justin Holiday. Yeah, that's a good play there because you get the ball in the middle, on the inside, everybody's collapsing, then you have an opportunity to go to the basket and get a good offensive putback. Beavers of Oregon State by 3 with possession. Washington extends their defense to midcourt. Johnson saves it to Roberto Nelson. No change of possession, 15 to shoot for the Beavers. Roberto. Passes up a three. Brandt will take a three. Missing. Nelson shoved Wilcox aside. That's a foul. And Washington will take it back. Well, I tell you, Kevin, I like the way they're playing the Huskies. I think you got to pressure up on them. And right there, you see the shot. Holiday follows, gets a nice tip, you know, and he makes himself effective some way or another on the court. He's going to be there. So that's a nice little play there by Holiday. Holiday, the senior, really has taken his game up a notch in the offensive end. There's so many scorers on his team. Holiday, not a selfish player at all, trying to enter there to Aziz Njai, and probably could make a case for him just squaring up and firing off a 15-footer there. Well, he really should have there, and that's being a little bit unselfish, but he turned and he saw Njai, but the defense was way back on him. All he had to do was take one dribble, and he could have almost laid it in. 7 for 19 shooting for Oregon State. Washington 6 of 18. Breaking into the lane is Jared Cunningham. Now that's what he can do. He is a razor. Just knifing into lanes and gaps where you just, it doesn't appear to be any kind of space, Lenny. He's able to angle in there. Well, he's not very big either, but you're right, Kevin. He got through there, and Njai didn't even know where he was. He was by him so quick. 7:45 to play here in the first half from Washington, where Oregon State leads the Washington Huskies 21-16 on FSN. All right, Angie, 7:46 left to play here in Seattle in the first half. Beavers 21, Huskies 16. Already this afternoon, California has beat Arizona State 65-61, a win for the Cal Bears. And up on the Pac-10 scoreboard, you have Washington leading the group at 3-0. Arizona State with a loss 1-3, and Cal goes to 1-2. Overton, nice movement without the ball, setting up Wilcox for three. Nope, and there's Holiday again.
with an offensive rebound and the putback for a bucket.
Well, that's where it's going to take. It's going to take patience by the Huskies. They got to move the ball in, out, penetrate, kick it out, and then they'll get some really good opportunities, and they'll be in great position to rebound as well because the zones are always tough to rebound against.
8 second chance points for Washington here this afternoon. The ball within 3. Angus Brandt triggering, blocked by Matthew Bryan-Anthony, recovered by an alert Jared Cunningham. Fouled as he went out. This will be the 7th team foul on Washington, and Cunningham will shoot 2.
Well, that was a good save by Cunningham because Brandt had no reason to take that shot. The defense was all over him. He just could not get it off, and he might have been worried about the clock, but great save by Cunningham under the basket.
Cunningham tied a school record, 34 consecutive free throws made. A record that had stood since 1967. He tied it. And then had hit, I believe it was 8 consecutive against Arizona before he missed. The crowd was very aware of the record and aware that he missed because there was a long, deep sigh by the crowd when he missed it. 23-18. 5-point lead for Oregon State. Washington gets busy with Matthew Bryan honoring himself into the lane and throwing up that little half hook off the window.
That was an unbelievable play. When you look at that, you see Benoit, he's going, he has nowhere to go. He goes up ill-advised, but catches the defense looking at him, makes a great pass to Brian Manning, and he has a chance for a 3-point opportunity.
Matthew averaging 17 points per ball game with just under 9 rebounds a contest. And of course was the Pac-10 Player of the Week last week, shooting 54% in the wins against UCLA and USC.
Well, that's a big 3-point play by Brian Manning, and if he continues that, I think he might have a chance to be Pac Player of the Week again.
Cunningham stumbled on that play, came up grimacing. Johnson enters to Burton, turns to the glass, laid it in. Excellent pass by Johnson.
He had great position too, Kevin. You know, he used his body extremely well and held off Matthews so he couldn't get to him.
Overton operating, pops across court, Isaiah Thomas. Johnson got a hand on it, recovered by Haynes. The open man is Cunningham right at the glass. He'll lay it in.
Well, right now, Oregon State seems to be a little bit quicker out there. They're moving that ball real well, and they're hanging in this game, and that's not something the Huskies want to let happen.
6-point Oregon State lead, but Isaiah Thomas cuts into it quickly with a well-aimed 3-pointer.
See, this is where having Benoit in the game helps sometimes, Kevin, because when you're playing against the zone, you got someone else to move the ball. He can be on the receiving end.
Burton inside to Johnson. Benoit Overton soars over to knock it away. Give Overton a block. Thomas in traffic is fouled.
It's a great play by Isaiah Thomas, you know, pushing the ball, you catch the defense running with their backs turned, you use them, you know, and go after it. Benoit on the other end, look at the block that he makes. I mean, great anticipation on his part.
First team all defense Pac-10 last year, Benoit Overton. And it'll be interesting to see if Lorenzo will stay with this guard combination of Benoit Overton and Isaiah Thomas. They are strangers, obviously. They have started 8 games last year together. Overton was a starter his freshman year. Of course, Isaiah was not here at the time. Overton started 26 games his freshman year before coming off the bench full-time late in the season last year. And really brings you that defensive presence off the bench as well as playmaking ability. His 6th all-time in the school in assists total. And right now he's trying to find Cunningham, who comes off the screen looking to pack it. Met by Holiday, who blocks the shot. Burton came up with it, deflected to Collier into the lane. He is fouled.
What a great defensive player by Holiday. I mean, he was right there to give the help when needed. I mean, you take a look at this young man. He's long, and he seems to anticipate well. Right there, the penetration, and he catches it right at the top.
There's another young fellow who was on that first team Pac-10 defense, Justin Holiday. McShane will step in, and Burton will head back to the bench. Greg Robinson, now his third year at Oregon State, coming over from Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. Part of the Ivy League. Collier, the left-hander, hits. The Beavers maintain the lead of 4 with 5:14 to play in the first half. What is that, only a 2-3 zone that Oregon State's dropped into now?
Yes, they're in a 2-3 now, and that allows them to have a fence across the back of the court.
Gant has the rebound taken away. Lead pass, Cunningham to the glass with a finger roll finish. 6-point lead for Oregon State. Beavers playing well with 4:48 left in the first half. Thomas for 3. Got another one. Isaiah Thomas coming off a crackerjack evening. Just outstanding against Oregon. Has 12 points in this one. 4 of 5 from the field. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Cunningham, the pump fake. Collier will raise. Throws an air ball. Terrence Ross with a rebound. Thomas strolls into another 3. Collier with a rebound.
Well, that was a heat check on his part. He made that first one. He thought he could make the next one.
Cunningham comes down, pulls up, jacks a 3, and he hits a 3-pointer. And now Oregon State 5 of 8 from beyond the arc. 6-point Beaver lead. 3:57 to play in the first half. Trying to lob to the back of the zone. Matthew Bryan has juggled it. Tipped away from him by Cunningham, ruling the officials to the chagrin of the crowd. Oregon State will take possession.
Well, I'll tell you, anytime you're in a 2-3 zone, those are the things that are going to happen. And you need a guy like Isaiah Thomas out there because he can make shots. And this is where Benoit really helps him. Now you come down the opposite end, and Cunningham is on that wing, and he nails it. So all of a sudden, we got raining threes by both teams. Welcome to Seattle, Washington. Pac-10 hoops this afternoon from Heck Evanson Pavilion with the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro on hand. Washington trailing Oregon State 34-28. Beaver basketball, 3:36 left in the first half. For 3 with 15 to shoot, knocks down another one, and Oregon State is just on fire from outside the arc. Now 6 of 9 out there, Lenny. Well, when you're 6 of 9, you can't go behind screens anymore. Now you got to either step out or challenge the guy because they're making too many and they're starting to feel too comfortable out there.
Beavers up 9 with 3:06 to play in the first half. Already this year, Oregon State's registered a big win against Arizona. That was last week in the opening weekend of Pac-10 play. Matthew Bryan found him alone, shoots and scores and is fouled.
Well, I tell you, and that's the thing that can happen when you got great talent on the floor. You're going to see Haynes comes now, and right here, they go below the screen, step out half-heartedly, but he's wide open, has a good look. Then when you come down the court, the other end, Isaiah creates. He gets into the paint, gets into the lane, he makes a nice pass to Ryan O'Manning, and now another three-point opportunity.
Brian Ammoning 8 points for the Huskies. Leading the way is Isaiah Thomas with 12. If you're wondering, Terrence Ross is 0 for 2 and has not yet scored, coming off a career-high 25. Haynes in the air missing. Brian Ammoning emphatically with the rebound. And Thomas, who got jolted on the way to the rack, would have counted had it gone. He'll shoot 2.
Well, so far, Ammoning and Isaiah got with the Huskies, and they need them this afternoon because they're the two guys that seem to be effective against the 2-3 or the 1-3-1 zone.
Greg Robinson visibly upset over there on the Oregon State bench. He immediately walked down to get Ahmad Starks ready to come back in. Thomas to the line. And Calvin Haynes will depart. Isaiah Thomas, he has been razor sharp today here at home. 13 points and a couple of assists for Thomas. After the late free throw, full court pressure applied by Washington. And a drop back. Thomas will just meet Lamont Starks at midcourt. 4-point Oregon State lead. 2:30 left here in the first half. Cunningham goes to work, eyeballs that screen, drives into the lane. Running shot, no. McShane the rebound. Starks in deep. Bad shot with 31 to shoot. Starks just came in there firing, and Craig Robinson's off the bench again, looking back at his bench, wondering why. Gant misses the three.
I don't blame him for being up on that shot. Boy, that was a tough one, especially when you got a little momentum going for yourself.
He yelled at Starks, "We don't need that." Starks is a freshman. He will learn. Cunningham to Amari Johnson. Cutting to the ball, McShane. Got it ripped out of his hands. Matthew Bryan-Hammoning recovers. Thomas looks at a three. He'll drive it into the lane. Starks got a piece. Ball loose. Matthew Bryan-Hammoning. Thomas open three. Only miss. Put up and in by Matthew Bryan-Hammoning. Outstanding reaction and the foul.
Matthew's having one of those kind of games, Kevin, and you know, thank goodness, because he and Isaiah certainly have set the tone for this team. I mean, you look at there, the follow-up, gets fouled in the act of shooting, and scores the basket, has another chance for a three-point opportunity.
2 of 2 from the line, 10 points, 4 rebounds for Matthew Bryan-Hammoning. Amari Johnson with a rebound. A 7-0 run for Washington to pull here to within 2, 37-35. Starts with a minute 17 left in that half. Dribbling right into pressure. Jabbed away, Cunningham. Leans in, going left. Nope. Rebound, Matthew Bryan-Hammoning. Looks down the floor, finds Scott Suggs cruising. Cross court broken up by Roberto Nelson out of bounds.
Well, I think that's the Achilles heel for Oregon State. Get them dribbling the ball, put a little pressure on them, and then all of a sudden they start dribbling. You can't dribble through everybody. Too much time.
Washington down 2 with a chance to tie it, take the lead.
Oregon's back in the 2-3 zone. I see them kind of stretching it out, trying to cover everybody. Wide open look. Hey, 3 points. That's what we want.
Suggs at 3. Washington had not led since 2-0, but they take the lead. 38-37 on a Suggs 3-point shot. He had 13 on Thursday in the win over Oregon. And now Thomas comes over to deflect the ball out of bounds with 26 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, you got to love that Suggs has the patience. He's playing within himself. The ball gets swung around. He lines it up, nails it, nothing but the net.
Suggs was 3 of 5 against the Ducks from 3-point range. 21 seconds left in the half, and now the Beavers behind with possession. Cunningham to Roberto Nelson. One or the other will have to get off a shot. It's Nelson, the running right-hander, an acrobatic play by Roberto. Here comes Washington. Benoit Overton. Got a great look at the buzzer. And it looks like it'll count at the buzzer. Well, and the Huskies take the lead 40-39.
And I guess we know why both of those guys are out there against this type of pressure. Anyway.
Well, Benoit grabbed it and just took off after Roberto Nelson knocked it down with 5 and change on the clock.
Well, right there, 2 great plays. You know, one on each end. Both guards making their presence felt.
And nobody turned the ball. They were chasing the ball. Overton just too fast for him. He found a lane and got off the shot. So Washington takes the lead, just their third here of the evening at 40-39 halfway through. Recap coming next. Welcome back to Seattle, Washington, Heck Edmondson Pavilion. The Along with Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro on hand. Washington on top of the Oregon State Beavers 40-39. Take a look at the first half numbers. Field goal shooting, Oregon State 41%, Washington 45. Three-point shooting, Beavers 6 of 9, Washington 4 of 16. Free throw shooting, Washington 8 of 11, Oregon State 5 of 8. A 20-18 rebound advantage, Oregon State. Points off turnovers, 12 for Oregon State University. 2 for Washington, and that's the thing, Lenny, about Oregon State. They will break you down. They will force some turnovers. They forced 5 turnovers against Washington.
Well, they let you get a little bit comfortable out there, and all of a sudden, you find that you're in trouble. They're still hanging around, and no one likes to have a team hanging around. It becomes dangerous to start to gain confidence. So right now, the Huskies got to be patient, and they got to try and put this team away.
Isaiah Thomas, outstanding in the first half, 16 points. 14 points after 16 minutes. And here's a shot thrown there with some touch. Matthew Bryant Ammoning is the other component of their offense. He has a dozen now in the game.
Not only did he show touch that time, Kevin, he showed determination. I mean, he made a strong move. He didn't mess around with it and turn right into the basket.
Cross-court pass intercepted. Benoit read that one all the way to the glass. Great start for Washington. Oregon State better get balanced here because they're running into a buzzsaw now.
That's right. Before they realize that this game could be over, so they got to all of a sudden change the tempo. They got to start over again and get themselves back going.
Remember, that was a 12-2 run Washington ended the first half with. They've come out now with a couple of buckets here. Cunningham nearly slipped. Angus Grant into the lane. Rejected by Aziz Ndiaye. But ball found by Haynes. His shot off the mark. Holiday with a rebound.
Great defensive play by Ndiaye. I mean, he changed everybody's thinking on that, and he makes a real good move. He showed good hands that time when he caught the ball and was able to make it to the basket. You take a look at him down here. Watch, he comes over, and I'll tell you, he's there. Both of them get the ball. Brian Manning, he got a good hand on that, and then they get going the other way. So that's good defense by the Huskies.
And then Ndiaye at the line. Now Joe Burton will step in for Angus Grant for Oregon State. Washington's come out with a couple of unanswered buckets here to take a 5-point lead.
Well, this is where Oregon State has to be real careful, Kevin, early on, because all of a sudden, if the momentum changes and it's an uphill battle for them, they'll have a long afternoon.
Jared Cunningham being watched by Benoit Overton. Wide open. And a good find by Amari Johnson once they had swung the ball across the top.
Somebody on the Huskies was ball watching that time because he was too wide open.
Beavers again drop back in the zone. They played the 1-3-1. They'll play the 2-3. They'll pressure the times full court. Nice pass. Find the back of the zone. Overton to Holiday running along the baseline for the two-hand jam.
That was a great overload by the Huskies because they caught Oregon State still in the zone, and they brought the guy from the other side around, made a nice lob pass to the basket.
On the exchange, Amari Johnson had to go off his knee in the backcourt, no touch, and that's a turnover. Washington will take it back.
You take a look at this pass here. Right there, they read the situation all the way. Benoit has his eye on his teammate the whole time.
Holiday, quick inbounds to Ndiaye. Thomas sets his feet for 3. And that was last touch by Amari Johnson out of bounds. Washington ball.
Well, there's a good opportunity for the Huskies right now. They're getting the ball back. They've got a chance to start to push the game away a little bit, and they need to do that.
Holiday shows, drives, and is nearly upended and fouled. He'll shoot 2. He was in the act.
You know, the young players with the Huskies, I mean, you really got to love their poise. I mean, I look at not only Holiday, but, you know, Ross, Suggs, none of them seem to get flustered. I mean, they just play their game and they take what comes to them. And I think that's what's helping them to become good players.
Good mix of upperclassmen as well that lead this team, like Holiday, the senior. Again, use that adjective, selfless. So court pressure applied by Washington, and they force Oregon State into a turnover, and Oregon State wasn't ready for that. Cunningham needed some help. Collier came back, but he was in no position along the sideline to make the catch on that pass. It goes out of bounds.
Yeah, you never run down the court with your backs turned. You got to pay attention to what's going on the floor. That is the onus on the players. You take a look at this here. We have a chance to see this on the replay. Right there, they're taking the ball out. Washington's up. Everybody else is back, not paying attention, and he's trying to call for help. Too late.
After Brian Amling rams into his own player as he's injured, had the ball dislodged, and then jostling for it, a foul call on Washington's Justin Holiday. Well, Washington's defense, Lenny, has now forced 3 turnovers on Oregon State here in the second half. Oregon State committed just 3 in the first half, so it's I guess a much more energized defense now for Washington that meets Oregon State here in the opening moments. 17 minutes left in the second half. Cunningham to Haynes, looking for Burton in the middle. Cunningham, nice scoop shot, but could not make the proper adjustment and fouled Matthew Brian Amling after he got the rebound.
Well, that was great cover-up defense by the Huskies on the back line because Benoit kind of lost his man, but his teammates were right there. I tell you, Brian Amling, he's having a heck of a game.
.53 left here in the second half. Overton. Trying to slide a ball across court, hit a leg of a Beaver. Picked up by Thomas. How did he find Matthew Brian Amling through that labyrinth of arms and legs? He threw a bullet in there again. Another pass by Thomas to his target, Matthew Brian Amling.
Yeah, well, see, he's dribbling with his head up. Look, he's got his head up right away. He sees the floor. He makes a great pass to Brian Amling, and all of a sudden, we're off to the races again.
Here's Cunningham coming in, averaging 19 points a game over the last 5 games. At 14 here this afternoon, but 14 toughness. 8-point lead for Washington. And the Beavers trying to maintain touch here. Maintain some sort of contact with Washington. It'll be tough to do, turning the ball over like that. Matthew Brian Amling has a step on the defense to the glass. Man, was that impressive as he went sprinting down the floor.
Well, you got to give the big guy kudos on that one, Kevin. And he anticipated the play. He stepped in, got the ball, took it all the way to the basket. I tell you, Brian Manning is really having some kind of game. Take a look at this right there. I mean, he's got control all the way to the hoop, even with a guy running in front of him. That's a great play. I tell you, he's having a heck of a game.
Ten-point spread now for Washington over Oregon State with 4 minutes gone by here in the second half. Defensively, the pressure has been ratcheted up by the Huskies.
Well, anytime you're going to play good defense like that, you're going to force the other team into errors. And then if you're alert like Brian Manning, he is having a whale of a game. He's taking advantage of every miscue that Oregon State is making.
Now Washington on a 20-4 run, carried back to that run at the end of the first half. They were down 9 and went on a 12-2 run to end the first half.
Well, the Huskies are feeling pretty good right now. They're staying up. They're playing a little bit more pressure defense. And once the die is set, I tell you, they've made it very difficult. They're not going to quit. They're going to try and put this game away.
Well, there's another strip for Washington. Overton, Holiday, mid-range jump shot. Controlled by Calvin Haynes of Oregon State. The Beavers badly need a bucket. Joe Burton to the end line. Bouncing to Roberto Nelson. He didn't quite know where he was going with that one. Shot, pass, and then decided to take a shot and threw it out of bounds.
Great rotation on defense by the Huskies because someone challenged the shooter, and then when he went to the basket, they slid over, got right in front of him, and made him commit.
Let's meet our three Chevron toy cars. Fuller Fire Truck, Matty Munster, and Mo Muscle. Stop by your local participating Chevron station to purchase your very own Chevron toy car. Chevron, proud sponsor of Husky Athletics.
With tremendous instincts on the defensive end of the floor, and he can score it on the offensive end. Matthew Bryan Hammond.
Well, we talked about him last year, Kevin, and always felt that this guy was just a step away from being a great player. And here he shows his whole repertoire on offense as well as defense, where he steps in and he acts like a guard there, gets out on the fast break and just lays it over the rim.
16 points, 6 rebounds for the Englishman. And Washington on top here by 10. Their largest lead of the afternoon over Oregon State. Oregon State led by 9 before Washington went on a 12-2 run to end the first half. And they have come out in the second half with a defensive intensity that Oregon State's not been able to reply to. Thomas, triple team, Matthew Bryan Hammond, one dribble adjustment to the glass, bounces it up and in. You can't stop him now. 18 and 6 boards. He's at 8 and 10 left.
Yeah, it's become the Ammoning and Thomas show.
Holiday reaches in on Roberto Nelson in a foul.
Well, this is a critical part of the game for Oregon State. They cannot get themselves further in the hole, because if they do, I'll tell you, it's a long climb out, and they won't make it this afternoon.
Working on his Zenjai across the middle, sweeping hook. Rebound, Matthew Bryan Hammond. He has scored the last 6 points for Washington. They're giving up to Suggs for an open look at 3 in transition. That was beautiful.
He got the rebound, brought the ball up the court, made a nice little bounce pass to Suggs in the corner, and it results in 2 points. That's just great basketball.
Washington shooting 51% from the field. Jared Cunningham ball fakes, leans in, and drew the foul. Cunningham fouled by Thomas. We'll shoot 2. Huskies looking to make some history. They can open up Pac-10 play 4-0 for the first time since '84 when they went 6-0. They have won 10 straight Pac-10 games, tying a UW record set by the 04-05 team. Their longest conference streak was 23 back in '53-54. Looking to break that Pac-10 winning streak of 10 straight with a win here this afternoon. Cunningham at the line. 15 points for Cunningham. Nice looking young player out of San Leandro High School in Oakland. Just a sophomore. Roberto Nelson, the redshirt freshman, D'ing up on Ross. It went off of Ross and out of bounds. In case you're wondering, Ross, coming off the career high of 25 points, has not scored here this afternoon in limited minutes. It's been the upperclassmen that have taken the reins. A 14-point Washington lead. Oregon State ball, 13:59 to go. Burton drop steps to the end line, double beneath the rim. Tried to spike it off Suggs. Missed him. Suggs with the steal. And the kick to Thomas. Missed the shot, but Enjai there to grab it.
You alert Enjai, but don't run with your back turn. Got to get back on defense, and he did. He finally turned around. But a great play by Isaiah Thomas. You know, he drew everyone to him, and then let Enjai finish it off.
Really, Washington has not, or I should say Oregon State has not scored a field goal since 1811. 5-minute drought. Aziz Enjai will come out. Darnell Gant will step in.
Well, you give a lot of credit to the Husky defense for that, because I'll tell you, when they put the pressure on them starting the second half, everything turned around.
Beavers trying to score something here. They've only put 3 on the board in the second half. They trail by 16 now. Roberto Nelson to the free throw line. Nelson highly sought after down in Santa Barbara, California. Had some personal issues with the family. His father incarcerated in prison in the state of California. Very difficult situation his senior year. He did not transfer. He stayed there his senior year. Highly sought after. A number of people talked to him, pursued him. Craig Robinson met him and said, we didn't talk basketball at all. We talked about life. And Roberto said he was so impressed with Craig Robinson and the relationship with the coach, he decided he would go to Oregon State. Here comes Terrence Ross. Ross scores to lay it up and in. His first bucket here in the afternoon. 16-point lead. Nelson goes to work. Nelson firing the long three. Nope. Rebound Matthew Bryan Ammer. Boy, he is a strong kid. I thought Matthew Bryan Ammer was going to follow the backwards on that one. He rides himself and got down the floor. Look at the offensive rebound. Kick out. Thomas for 3. Ross the foul. Protected up and in. The Huskies just come at you in waves.
Now someone just pushed the switch for Ross because he's been involved in the last 2 plays. But, you know, like we say all the time, the guy has a lot of poise. He does not rush or pressure himself into doing bad things.
Cunningham will get a bucket. Washington thought he'd been fouled on the court. They're going to say, no, count the bucket. He'll shoot.
But right here, you're going to see, right there, you know, Ross goes in, while Brian Manning gets it, and now he makes the pass out. They're looking, tipped by Ross, comes in from the other side.
Cunningham will step to the free throw line. He hit 15 of 15 in a game earlier this year against George Washington. And it's this free throw.
He's a nice-looking player.
Yes,
I tell
he
you,
is.
you know, he's got a nice stroke. He seems to be patient. He plays with poise. He doesn't get too flustered out there. So he's got great potential.
15-point lead for Washington. 12:34 to go. Second half. Suggs and Ross, Overton, Gant, and Matthew Bryan Ammer. Ross is terminated his dribble and needs help. Pivots away from the much smaller starts. 13 to shoot, and Overton goes to work. Sweeping crossover, right to left, into the lane. Bounces inside the gap, wriggles into the air, had it blocked, got it back. That's Ross. Missing, tapped up and in by Matthew Bryan Amity. 20 points now, 10 boards for Matthew Bryan Amity.
Amity is very alert tonight. He is watching every play. He's helping out. He's supporting his teammates, and he's getting some nice opportunities at the bench.
Just a monster game. 17-point lead. Nelson for three. Good-looking jump shot. Roberto Nelson. Welcome back to Seattle, where the Huskies lead the Oregon State Beavers 64-50 with 11:30 left here in the second half, along with Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro. Washington will get it in bounds. They are led here this evening by Matthew Bryan Amity. Overton the shot. No. Tipped up. Kevin McShane will control it. NBA for Washington, 20 points, 10 rebounds. And here in the second half, the Huskies have put the clamp down on Oregon State. 24-11. They've outscored. Roberto Nelson to the glass. Darnell make that Terrence Ross getting a piece inside. Foul is on Ross. 16th foul on Washington. And Nelson will step to the line. Roberto Nelson, Santa Barbara, California. Free throw up and in. FSN's coverage of the Western Hockey League returns next Friday with the Everett Silvertips in action against the Thunderbirds of Seattle. And don't miss the WHL's inaugural outdoor game. And Spokane hosts Kootenay in the Rockstar Outdoor Hockey Classic. Both matchups right here on FSN and FSN HD. To Suggs, catch and shoot, three up and in, and he has quietly put together another nice game. 9 points for Suggs, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Lenny, he was 3 of 5 Thursday with 13 against the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, he plays within himself, Kevin. He doesn't try to overdo, and he makes sure that he's wide open. If his teammate is open, he gives him the ball, but he's patient. And good things happen. Look at here. Move to the baseline. Tough pass along the baseline. That's always a very difficult pass.
Nelson has Starks ahead of him into the lane. And drew the bump from Darnell Gant. Starks will shoot 2. Beavers down 16. Oregon State, for the second consecutive year, swept the Arizona schools. Previous to that, they hadn't done it since '83. Beat Arizona State, and then last Sunday night they defeated Arizona. This has been an up and down Oregon State team. They lost to Seattle University here in Seattle. They lost at Colorado. Colorado not a bad ball club. And then lost at Montana. Of course, Montana won at UCLA. They lost a home game against Utah Valley. It's been a mixed bag for Greg Robinson's Beavers, trying to find some sort of consistency. Starks will step out, Cunningham will step in.
Well, that's what I think they're trying to find themselves, right now. And, the route for them, they were off to a 2-1 start in Pac-10 play for just the second time. But, again, they're up and down, trying to find the right combinations. And I think eventually they will.
This was a team last year that would bog you down, try to play a very controlled, low-scoring type game. And Greg Robertson said he was just adjusting his system to meet the level of the talent. And his feeling was that this year he could open it up much more than they did last year. They continue to play the 1-3-1. They're averaging 74 points a game this year. They averaged 61 a game last year. Washington here this afternoon has really come out and shut down the Beavers in the second half. It was 40-39 Washington on a 12-2 run to end the first half.
Well, the Beavers, and a part of the zone defenses they play, it really helps them. Plus, they lead the nation in steals.
Yep.
But you got to score. Got to put the ball in the basket, and you got to stop people. And if you don't, and when you run against a good team like the Huskies, you have to show real good patience, and you cannot let them run away from you.
Here's Njai to the line. Holiday after the rebound, and it's deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Oregon State.
Well, Manning's getting, Brian Manning is getting a real good deserved rest. When you look at his line, boy, I'm 9 for 11, 2 for 3 from the foul line, 10 rebounds, you know, 20 points. This guy's had a heck of a game.
Nice pass over the inside line. He drops that by Nelson and slams it.
I think he faked the whole gymnasium out on that one because everyone thought he was going over to the corner, and he dropped it right on Njai.
How about the feed from Overton? That was just outstanding. Gant will come out. In will come Thomas. So the exchange of big for a point, another point guard.
Great pass by Venor.
Holiday with a block takes it away from Starks. Here they come. Holiday off the floor, lost the handle. McShane to Nelson to the glass. What happened there?
He tried to get a little too fancy. He saw Isaiah coming on the side of him.
McShane keeps it alive, jabs it out of bounds. Washington basketball. Washington has had 8 blocks here this afternoon, which is a season high for them. Washington leading by 16 with 9:14 to go. Still to come here on FSN tonight. A lot of college basketball. Thomas into the lane to Aziz Njai. Backed it up and the freshman, 7 feet 260, finding his way along the glass. Holiday had McShane fall on his right foot. Justin is helped up by his teammates.
Right here, you're going to see him run out there, and then right there, the big guy has kind of got his ankle right up on top of his ankle. He's lucky he didn't get a real bad strain out of that.
UW up 18 big ones. 8:37 to go in this game. Inside Cunningham. Jared Cunningham. Angus Grant. That's McShane wrestling away the rebound to Grant for 3. McShane after it again keeps it alive to Calvin Haynes. Tried to pitch it low to Cunningham. Flipped out of bounds by Washington.
You got to love the Huskies' intensity on defense. They have continued to keep that kind of defensive pressure that they need out there. No matter what the score is, they're still playing real hard.
Starts for 3, bagged it. Oregon State was red hot from 3 in the first half. For the game, they are 8 of 14. Suggs the other way. Look at 3. That's the best look he's had tonight. Very a few. Not that one. Rebound leading to Oregon State breaking down the floor. Starks got it jagged away by Overton. The two of them spin each other around halfway through. Halfway up the court. Goes out of bounds. And for an instant, looked like Washington was going to get it back. The Oregon State ball after the timeout with 7:38 to play here in Seattle. Huskies 71, Beavers 56. College Hoops on FSN is brought to you tonight by Northern Quest Casino, Spokane's newest destination resort, and by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the jumbo deal of Jumbo Jack, 2 tacos, fries, and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax. Welcome back. A glorious winter day here in Seattle, Washington, where the Seahawks take care of business in the first round of the playoffs today. Congratulations to the Seahawks as they defeat the New Orleans Saints. And here indoors, hereby, at Heck Edmondson in Seattle, Vinoy Overton and the Washington Huskies taking care of business, leading Oregon State 71-56. Washington came in to tonight's play 11-3, 3-0 in conference. Calvin Haynes knifes into the lane. Contact made and a foul, and Haynes will shoot two.
You know, speaking about Calvin Haynes, I watched him last year, and it seemed to me he was much more aggressive offensively. Today, it's kind of a quiet afternoon for him. It's like he's almost not involved at times.
He averages 11 a game for Oregon State. One of three seniors on the ball club. Haynes and this man checking in, Amari Johnson. And Lathan Wallace, all seniors. They have seen the worst of times, the worst of times,
and the worst of times.
Gradually better.
Yeah.
Craig Robinson now in his third year. In his first year, they won 18 ball games. Last year, they were winners of 14. But they're 8-10 in conference, so they're by one win in conference. 7-11 the first year. Here's Thomas into the lane. Rebound inside, Darnell again. Just working in the paint to lay it up and in. Washington now has garnered a number off the glass in their offensive end. Points in the paint now tilted back toward Washington. They've out rebounded Oregon State 34-28. Cunningham fouled as Vinoy Overton came over to get his elbow. Pac-10 standings. This would be big for Washington to complete the task here to go 4-0. Stanford 2-0, Arizona 2-1. Arizona's loss was to Oregon State in Corvallis. And of course, with Washington sweeping UCLA, USC as they did on the road. Very, very big start. Pac-10 season for the Washington Huskies, who were picked Lenny #1 in those preseason polls by all the Pac-10 basketball writers to finish #1. Of course, they lost to Abdul Gaddy. The word coming down last Tuesday that he was out with a torn ACL of the left knee, and that meant the reshuffling of the deck. Vinoy Overton getting the start on Thursday, and again here this afternoon with Isaiah Thomas. Been much smoother tonight.
Oh yeah, it's been real smooth tonight. Other guys are stepping up. You know, Matthew is all of a sudden playing really well. He stepped up real big. Other guys have stepped up big. You know, Suggs has stepped up big. Ross stepped up big. And Benoit's playing really well. He's had a steady game and has been a steady influence. So this team has depth. And yes, you always miss a player like Abdul Gaddy because he's such a poised player. But the Huskies have depth. They've stepped up, and they're doing a great job.
Mentioned Matthew Brian Avenning, 20 points, 12 rebounds for the big man. Oh, he's been outstanding. 8 blocks for the Huskies as a team. NBA missing the free throw. Angus Brandt with the rebound. 13-point Washington lead. 6.5 minutes to go in the ballgame. Washington trying to close the deal. And there's Overton reaching in, picking the pocket of Cunningham, and Cunningham getting it back from behind, jamming it out of bounds. Washington ball.
I tell you, that's just great quick hands by Vinoy right there. He's up there, he anticipates, he reaches, he gets out, and he really gets it out on the break. And this is a great, great team. Their defense is really improved.
On the inside, the foul. That was before the ball was brought in, a dead ball foul with 6:28 left on Angus Brandt. And so a couple of free throws that will be awarded to Darnell Gant here in a moment. Timeout called on the floor with 6:28 remaining, 73-60. Washington leading big right now. Their schedule ahead up on the 13th. They are at Stanford, then at Cal. Cal today a winner over Arizona State. And then a home game against Derek Williams, Sean Miller's Arizona State Wildcats. On the 22nd, it's Arizona State, and then a game that a lot of folks are penciling on their calendar at Washington State to meet the Cougars. Later tonight here on FSN, beginning at 7:30. They'll be at home and they'll meet the Oregon Ducks.
Well, the game at Stanford's going to be a tough game too, especially if they can stay undefeated. You know, all of a sudden you're going to have the guys at the top of the Pac-10 really going at it. So that could be a huge game.
Darnell Gant at the line. 15-point Washington lead, 6:28 remaining. Take a look at our Volkswagen game summary. Well, Washington shooting lights out at 50%. Oregon State being held at 37%. So a combination of hot Washington shooting and terrific defense, particularly here in the second half. Nelson steps back and knocks down the jump shot. Overton will set up now for Washington. C.J. Wilcox in the lineup. In a staph infection that had bothered him over the last couple of games, limiting him to 4 minutes. He saw some time in the first half, now he's back in. Thomas for three. Isaiah, he has been sharp again today. 4 of 9 from 3 for Isaiah Thomas. 17.6 assists.
And that 2-1-2 zone doesn't have any answer for Isaiah Thomas. Not when you let him stand at the top of the circle, because that's one of his favorite areas to shoot from.
There's our Volkswagen summary. Cunningham 20 points for Oregon State. Matthew Bryan Ammoning 20 and 12. And the Washington Huskies go on a 22-3 run to open up the second half. Their defense was just stifling. Overton up the floor.
That's what great ball movement does. Not good ball movement, but great ball movement. And look at the block by Brian Manning. I mean, that's incredible. He gets back on D, makes that kind of block, and then they go down the other end and get away. He's loving it.
94 feet, the bucket, and then the block on Joe Burton for a recovery. That deserves a standing ovation. And they will get it from the Husky faithful. Cunningham in the lane. Spiked by Gant. Tipped off of Oregon State, out of bounds. Washington's defense now is just becoming a bulldozer. 4:50 left in the ballgame, and Craig Robertson needs a timeout. 10 blocks for Washington. A 20-point dog lead.
We take a look at this. Give kudos to Matthew Brian Manning. Look at this. He comes all the way back. Well, that's Gant getting. Matthew got the first one. Gant gets the second one.
That's after Matthew Bryan Ammoning scored. He came back, blocked the shot. The Huskies got it back, and then Gant scored. And then when they came back down the floor, it was Gant who spikes it out of bounds as he goes 94 feet and turns in a terrific play. So you've got Aziz Ndiaye, Matthew Bryan Ammoning, Darnell Gant, your bigs with this kind of quickness up and down the floor.
That was a great pass again by Isaiah Thomas. And now you see, there goes Brian Manning back, and he catches him, and he makes a great block. That's incredible. And right now, Coach Robertson had to call timeout because they're starting to unravel.
C.J. Wilcox with a catch. No. Rebound. Terrence Ross right back up and in. You got the redshirt freshman Wilcox on the floor with Terrence Ross, Darnell Gant, Matthew Bryan Ammoning, and Isaiah Thomas. 4:24 left. Cunningham, we put an elbow right into Wilcox. Running into the lane. That's going to be called on Wilcox. Up on the hustle board, 10 blocks for Washington and 7 steals, 16 offensive rebounds. Looked like Cunningham driving into the lane, got his off arm up and into the chest, a high chest up on the sternum of Wilcox. But they call the foul on Wilcox nonetheless, and Cunningham will shoot two. Yeah, Lorenzo Romar indicating, yeah, that may have been an elbow there with the off arm. But Cunningham at the line splits a pair. MBA with a rebound. 22 of 13 for NBA here this evening. Drives and scoops. The Englishman into the air. Blocked out back. Everything easy for him right now.
Everything is going his way, I'll tell you. And he's staying after. He's relentless as well.
Well, he got drawn into that pump fake by Roberto Nelson, and the foul stops the clock. 3:53 left in this one. It's all Washington, 86-63. Well, here in the second half in Seattle, Washington at Heck Evans Pavilion, it has been all MBA getting his PhD. 24 points, 15 rebounds for Matthew Bryant Amity. His 15 boards a season high. His 5th double-double of the year. Senior coming on, playing with a real zeal. 11 of 14 from the field for this young man. I don't think anything's been beyond 10 feet.
No, he's been real smart about how he's played all game long. And you know, with all that he was doing, he only turned the ball over twice. That's pretty good, you know, because when you're feeling good, all of a sudden you might want to do more things. And he stayed within himself. When it was time for him to pass the ball out, he passed it, he swung it, he helped his teammates. He just had a heck of a game.
Washington trying to extend their Pac-10 winning streak to 11 games. Carried over from last year when they made that just terrific run toward the end of the regular season, and then of course into the tournament, Pac-10 tournament, and then on to the Sweet 16. They're hopeful that they can push past that level this year. They've got an awfully deep team. Thomas fouled by Starks in backcourt. And this will put Isaiah Thomas to the line. 17 points, 8 assists for Thomas. Lenny, he was outstanding Thursday against Oregon, just doing it all.
You know, he's been real consistent. He's been just a pleasure to watch grow this season. When you saw him a year ago and you knew that he had that kind of potential, and then all of a sudden this year steps up. He's making the play. He's getting his teammates off first. He's running the show for Lorenzo. So he has done it all. And at the same time, he understands that, yeah, I have to stay involved in the game as well. So I think he's done a marvelous job.
He had a breakaway dunk against Oregon.
I never had one of those.
Are you serious?
No. When I was in high school, our coach wouldn't let us dunk the ball.
Thomas comes out. He'll get a curtain call. A young man with 19 points and 8 assists. 3:42 left. Roberto Nelson navigates into the lane. Off glass, look out. Cunningham comes down hard, but pops up. Ross bringing it across midcourt. Cunningham knocked it down and out of bounds. Washington basketball. 3:29 left in this one. And Matthew Bryant Amity will step out. 24 points, 15 rebounds. And Brendan Scherer, the junior from Monroe, Washington, will step in. Use the Husky barometer. When you see him come out onto the court, it means the party is over. Suggs hits the three-point shot. Or maybe the party is about to begin. Because it means a Husky win.
Yeah, I think the party's about to begin. And what you're going to see with Oregon now, they're going to try to do things they really can't do or shouldn't do.
Nelson puts it up, just trying to keep it alive. Suggs with a rebound. 2:51 left. Oh, look out. Yeah, that's the kind of freak play you just don't want to see at the end of this game that clearly is going to Washington. Gant came off of another player's body and took a tough fall, bracing himself with his hand. He's all right.
It's a reactive situation with players. You know, the game is right at the end, and the other team is trying to make something desperate happen. And then, of course, you have to stay patient. And right there, Ross, he makes a nice move to the basket. Here again, nice little interception. The game is getting ragged right now.
Ross 8 points and 7 rebounds. 2:18 remaining in this one. 93-68. We were talking earlier tonight about opposing coaches as they approach Washington, with Terrence Ross getting the 25 on Thursday as he did against Oregon. He can expect now for coaches to game plan to an extent to try to take him out of the mix a little bit. Before he really wasn't on the radar, although he did have 18 points, I believe it was against UCLA.
Yeah, he's going to be on the radar from now on. He's going to be in the scouting report, so they're going to pay attention when he comes in the game. He's not going to get anything easy. If the other players are playing really good, like happened tonight, then all of a sudden you're going to see him pop up here and there, get a nice opportunity to score.
Ross averaging nearly 17 points in the 3 previous Pac-10 games. Gant to come out. Darnell Gant is out. Ross will stay on the court. Antoine Hosley, freshman out of Jefferson High School in Portland, Oregon. Reteamed with Terrence Ross and Terrence Jones of Kentucky. Starks triggering the 3.
Right now, Oregon is going 3 happy. They're just looking for too many outside shots. That's not going to get you back in the game.
Ross running the baseline, ripped away from behind by Collier. He was out of bounds. A minute 52 left. 95-68, Washington. Big-time defensive effort by Washington in the second half. They led halfway through 40-39. Ross for 3. Man, that's the kind of fluid, silky shot we saw Thursday here against the Ducks.
Yeah, and you want to keep him out on the floor right now with these guys, because he's the one guy that if you leave him wide open, you know he's going to knock down the 2 points.
Huskies up 30 with a minute 26 left. Brent has it picked from behind by Wilcox. CJ to the glass. And the Huskies are at the century mark.
Well, that's something they've been wanting to do. I think they did it 4 times already this year. Now here you get another opportunity to get to the century mark. That turns the fans on.
Sure does.
1 minute left to play, 1 minute.
McShane with a follow. Team co-captain Kevin McShane. Oregon State, meantime, can hold the distinction if they were the first Pac-10 team this year to score 70 against Washington. However, they're getting beat by 32 as Ross centers a 3 right on. 14 points, 7 boards for Terrence Ross. 33-point Bulge, 36 seconds left. Stand by, more basketball and FSN coming. Gonzaga and Portland. And Washington State taking on the Oregon Ducks. This was a must weekend for Oregon State as well. Big game tonight for them. They obviously run a long extended trip from Hawaii to Southern California and lost to the Southern California schools. Washington started with wins over UCLA, USC, and now are going to sweep the Oregon schools here at home with the 103-72 conquest here today of the Oregon State Beavers.
Well, I think the fans like the 100 points because they're on their feet for the Huskies tonight.
Plenty 5 players in double figures, led by the 24, Matthew Ryan Hamnick, 24 points, 15 rebounds for NBA. Ross off the bench with a 14-7 effort. Isaiah Thomas leading them at point with 19 points and 8 assists. He hit 4 of 9 from 3. And Washington as a team, their 11th straight Pac-10 win, the longest UW League win streak since 53-54 when they were in the old PCC. Final score here in Seattle tonight. Washington 103 and Oregon State 72.